Every year, global foundations and municipal agencies pour billions of dollars into historically under-resourced communities. It is usually framed as a rescue. Yet decades of these capital injections have revealed an uncomfortable macroeconomic reality. The money rarely sticks around long enough to actually build local prosperity. Let's map a simple cash or card transaction at a neighborhood shop to see why. An extraction process begins immediately. A legacy payment terminal skims processing fees right off the top, routing that capital away from the community and up to financial giants. Then, the local business owner deposits the rest of their revenue into a multinational bank. Instead of extending credit down the street to the local economy, the bank uses those deposits to finance developments across the globe. Economists measure how fast capital moves through a system using a metric called the velocity of money. In marginal neighborhoods, this velocity is effectively zero. The capital simply evaporates after a single handoff. Economic health depends on how many times capital rotates internally before escaping. Mending this structural plumbing problem requires a payment architecture specifically designed to keep capital moving within the community storefronts. This structural fix requires a maximum velocity program. It is a transition from passive cash to programmable value, powered by dollar-pegged stablecoins. Because these stablecoins operate on efficient Web3 blockchain networks, they completely bypass traditional credit card processing rails. This eliminates the intermediary tolls that usually drain a transaction. Let's trace a new consumer purchase over this system. The local merchant receives immediate, low-cost settlement for 85% of the sale. The remaining 15% does not vanish into administrative fees. Instead, it triggers an automated smart contract process known as the autonomous ecosystem split. This splitting process functions as an engine of intentional gravity. It takes the value that would normally leak out to a banking conglomerate and physically locks it into the community. The math of the split breaks down like this. The first 5% is returned directly to the purchasing consumer's digital wallet as a reinvestment incentive. But smart contracts place a strict rule on this rebate. It can only be spent at other participating local merchants. This mathematically guarantees that the capital will rotate at least one more time through a community storefront. The second 5% flows instantly into a community lending fund, managed by a decentralized autonomous organization, or DAO. By aggregating microfractions from thousands of daily retail sales, the system builds a massive, continuous reservoir of local equity. Because this lending is automated and community-governed, it bypasses traditional credit scoring bottlenecks. The DAO members simply use their governance tokens to vote on and distribute microloans for local business expansion. The final 5% is directed to the DAO treasury. This slice self-funds the network's survival, paying for things like smart contract audits, financial literacy tools, and daily operations. By programming this 15% split, a single everyday purchase initiates a multi-year economic history. The local velocity of money no longer depletes the capital, it recycles it, creating a perpetual motion machine of community wealth. When you zoom out, the macro effects of this system become clear. The community stops operating as a passive data harvest for corporate behemoths and begins operating as an active, self-sustaining web of wealth producers. This architecture allows communities to stack auxiliary asset classes on top of their basic retail commerce. For example, a local business might use its DAO loan to install green infrastructure, like a water efficiency system or carbon sequestration setups. The metrics from those specific green improvements can be verified directly on-chain. The DAO aggregates this verifiable data and mints it into compliance-ready environmental credits. Here is the financial climax of the loop. Those newly minted credits can be sold to external corporate buyers at market rates. This mechanism captures external institutional capital and injects it straight back into the local lending pool. For decades, technologists have treated Web3 as a speculative casino, while policymakers have treated community reinvestment as a regulatory chore. Both approaches fail because they leave the extractive architecture of modern finance completely intact. Coordinate sovereignty offers an alternative to this extraction. By substituting traditional intermediaries with programmatic transparency, communities gain the tools to mend their own financial fabric and manage the velocity of their own money.